Greeting YouTube. I know I've talked about my autism a lot on my channel because it's been a journey for me over the last year and a half of coming to realize what actually has been holding me back my entire life. The issues I've been wrestling with for all this time, not knowing what they were. Now I have a name to put to them. Now I can understand. Now I have been listening to my fellow autistic folks out there on the internet and listening to their life experiences and discovering that their experiences have been echoed in my life, that I'm not alone, that I know that we're all different, but we still have some commonalities. And one of the things that drives me truly batty is not understanding. Now, it was a survival instinct when I was a kid because I was raised by an abusive alcoholic who was mentally ill, probably neurodivergent himself. And I'm a mentally ill kid, neurodivergent, trying to figure out how the world works, not understanding how humanity functions, being treated like an idiot, being treated literally being told I'm stupid every single day for the first 14 years of my life. 14 years of my life I was told I was dumb because I didn't understand how the world worked around me because nobody goddamn well explained it. Everything was supposed to be assumed from context. You're just supposed to know that shit. I saw a great piece, a little cartoon recently. It said, imagine if every human being on the planet could speak to each other telepathically except for you. You don't understand how people are communicating. You don't get it. You can kind of infer certain things, but you really don't understand how they're talking to each other. And you get things wrong all the time. Say there's a person standing in front of you, your housemate or your spouse, and they're holding a garbage bag in their hand. And they're telepathically telling you, I'm going to take care of the garbage. Why don't you go do the dishes? But all you can do is see them standing there with the garbage bag in their hands. So you take the garbage bag out and you walk away. That wasn't what they wanted. And you didn't know that because you're not telepathic and everybody else is. Well, that's what it's like. You see people communicating and you don't get it. But as I come to that realization, I also came to understand that I don't understand a lot of things that people do as individuals isolated from interaction. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that I'm not talking about two people doing something together and I don't understand how it's working. No, no. I'm talking about an individual acting by themselves, doing something in isolation, and what they do makes no sense. They do something and there is no logical way to explain the reason they did the thing they did. If you were to witness it, you'd stand there and go, what? And if you come in after, you have to, and you've kind of piece it apart and figure out what happened, and it suddenly dawns on you, oh, somebody did this. Why would someone do this? I want to know that. And I can't. Because I've discovered when you ask people about things like that, you often get the same kind of response if you ask your average 3-year-old why they do something. Because the 3-year-old doesn't know. They're not lying to you. They're 3. They're still trying to figure things out. So when they say they don't know why they did something, they don't. But I've discovered over the years that there are lots of adults that do things like that. And we all make mistakes. All right? Is there no way you can get around that? But I'm not talking about just mistakes. I'm talking about multi-step processes that led down a path of absolute inanity, of absolutely nonsense. Like you did this, this, and this, and it led to this final stage, which wasn't what you wanted. And now I have to figure out how to undo it after the fact, and I never saw you do it, and you weren't here to explain it to me, and you couldn't even if you were. And I want to know, and I can't. So I'm having to get myself to the point where I just accept there will be things in life that I'm never going to understand. that no matter how hard I try, no matter how many questions I ask, no matter how many types of investigation I may use, there will never be an answer. And it's bad enough that there are things I'll never get knowing that because I'm autistic. But it's worse when other people could look at that same situation and say, "Yeah, that doesn't make any sense." And yet they can just shrug and move on because I can't. I can't just shrug and move on. I get frustrated. And I explained this to someone recently, and she looked at me and she said, "That must be really irritating." She believed me that like I get frustrated about these things, and I'm like, "Yeah," because she doesn't get frustrated about it. When she encounters these kind of things, she's like, "Yeah, that thing happened," and then she moves on. And I can't do that. I'm trying to. I'm trying to accept the fact that I will never understand why this thing happened, and I don't have a trick for that yet. I'm st- I'm still working on the emotional regulation thing, but I'm also now trying to also tackle accepting that there are unknowable actions by my fellow humans. Not acts of cruelty, not maliciousness, not bigotry, just things that don't make sense. And you know they weren't what the person wanted. They aren't what you want, but there it is. And now you got to do something with it. And I want to know to folks out there who are further down their path when it comes to understanding their own neurodivergence and how they fit into the world. Have you figured out how to accept the unknowable? Have you learned that trick of just being able to go, yeah, that's what it is, and move on? I haven't learned that trick yet, and I really want to, because I would really like to not feel frustrated so often, because it isn't helping. So, have you learned to accept the unknowable? And if you have, how did you do it?